Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm talking about discipline. Why will discipline be the reason that you become successful, that you go on to achieve any goal you want? I promise you the defining line is whether you're disciplined or you're not. That is the only factor to those who go on to do something and those that don't. It's simply discipline, but there's discipline in all different areas, from your health, routine, business, mindset, the people that you're with. All of it starts from the discipline. So in this video, let's take a look at it. Let's take a look at some of the tips and insights that I have to offer. I'm really excited for this one. Let's get into it. So my question to you is, what does discipline actually mean? Or what pops into your head when you hear that word? Because for me, it's several things, and it's in different areas of my life that I need to apply discipline in order to go on and be successful in the industry that I want to be involved in, and also new opportunities that I want to create. But behind all of that, I need to be really disciplined, really focused and consistent in order to achieve what I want to achieve. So the areas where I need to apply discipline are the following. My morning routine is key, because if I don't hit my morning routine and stay disciplined every single day, it throws me off. We've all been there. I'm sure you can relate when I say that, you hit the snooze button once, you hit it twice, you hit it even a third time, you wake up 2 hours later and it's thrown you off your whole day. You didn't do what you were meant to do that morning. So you missed your tasks and then it's thrown you off. And what do we do as a result? We procrastinate. So that's the first part. It's the foundation work. It's the morning. Second part for me is my health, mental and physical. And by doing my morning cardio, my morning workout, staying disciplined with that, I release my endorphins, I free my mind up, I become creative, I take new notes down and I'm ready to go, and I can put those in my diary and I can apply that. So I'm ready to be productive for the day. So basically, as a result of that, I give it my all, and I need to do that every single day. And it's a habit. We're talking about habits here that we need to install and become regular with. The second part for me is the actual routine of my whole day, pre-planning, whether you pre-plan the night before or however you plan your day, but it's to be disciplined and committed in order to know exactly what you're doing, so you follow a structure. Because if you haven't planned out or you haven't mapped out what you're doing, how do you know where you're going? So you need to start with the end in mind and then attack that and follow step by step. The other area for me where I need to be disciplined is money management. I want to be extremely wealthy when I'm older, as I'm sure many others do. And what do I need to do in order to do that? I need to have delayed gratification. I need to make certain sacrifices. I need to not buy the new clothes, new trainers, all the new designer clothing, stuff like that. I need to put that on hold for the bigger picture later in life. Who wants to keep up with the Joneses when the Joneses are really poor and it's just an external front? Because that's not me. I'm not about that. And I hope you're not too. And that we're willing to crunch the numbers now, sacrifice for a better future. We need to look after ourselves and our families for later in life. The next area for me is continued education. It is so important that we are disciplined to teach ourselves not just one thing, but everything, which allows us to create opportunities. If we become an all-rounded key that can unlock any door, imagine the opportunities that are behind all these doors. You wouldn't want to just be a one-trick pony where you know about one thing, you stopped learning about all these other avenues. You get offered an opportunity that was right in front of your face, you didn't know about it, so you didn't take it, you didn't seize the moment. So education for me is so important when it comes to discipline, that I need to learn and never stop. The final part for me, really, where I apply most of my discipline as well, is my network. Am I the smartest person in the room? Because I never want that situation. I want to be able to be in the right room and learn from people around me. I want to be around productive, positive and supporting people. So why do I apply discipline in that? Well, I need to reevaluate every now and again. Is this person right for me? Am I right for them? If I'm not, I need to be disciplined, make changes, and then perhaps move myself into a different room, learn from new people. So those are the areas of my life where we need to apply discipline. Let's have a look at a couple of real basic examples, which I'll explain now, how discipline works, and it's that very defining line. You're either on one side of the fence or you're on the other. So let's just take a look at a couple of really simple examples. So this one's pretty simple, right? You want to become, let's say, a Gymshark athlete, okay? What do you think you need to do? You need to work out, you need to have some form of a branding, like an influence, a bit of backing on social media, and you need to have the body. You need to work out, you need to eat healthy, you need to promote the fitness side of it in order to become a Gymshark influencer. You could go on to do that. Anyone can do that. But the defining line is someone who wants to do it, but they don't really want to train. They don't want to get up early. They don't want to document their journey. They don't want to carve their body and look aesthetically good. The person that does will have the discipline, the commitment, and the consistency to eat healthy, train, work out, post, tag in Gymshark time and time and time again until eventually Ben Francis reaches out to you or their media manager and says, look, we want to invite you in for an interview to become an influencer or a brand ambassador. But the defining line of someone who ended up being a Gymshark athlete was they were committed to their physical and mental health, and they were willing to promote that, create the audience and everything like that. It's the same for finances. Someone who does well and someone who doesn't do well, let's look at the person who probably won't do well and become wealthy later in life, is someone who spends, keeps up with the Joneses in their teens, late teens, early 20s and late 20s. They want to buy the latest car, they want to pay it on finance, they want to buy the newest clothes, they want to look the part, they want to tell all their friends, I've got the new Audi, the new Merc. Yeah, but you don't even own it. But they're spending. They're not building wealth. They're not building generational wealth. And there's no foundation going on. They just spend. Now, if we look on the other side, we've got this delayed gratification. We've got the person who's going to be wealthy in their late 30s. Someone who is willing to sacrifice going out every weekend in their teens and in their 20s. Society says, or we think, that in our 20s we should be going out and having as much fun as possible, spending all the money in the world. And I'm not against having fun. I had a lot of fun in my late teens and early 20s, but I did it in a controllable way. I had good habits originally. I was disciplined from the off. From when, from really my childhood, I've been very disciplined. So I always managed things well. I money managed well, but those who don't never really have anything to show for it. But the people who have gone on to be millionaires, multimillionaires and billionaires, look at where they were disciplined. Look at Jeff Bezos in his tiny little room with his homemade desk. It doesn't look like he was out on a Friday night. And also there was an interview with Jeff Bezos where the interviewer said, I think you're worth around about 12 billion at the moment, Jeff. What's with the Honda? And Jeff just replied and said, it's a perfectly good car. He doesn't need to show off. He doesn't need to keep up with the Joneses because his net worth, he's comfortable. So there's also being content and being disciplined in order to control your money, do what you need to do now in order to become wealthy later. So it's just very simple. It's that defining line. You're either on one side of the fence and you have got no control, you've got no discipline over yourself, to those who have, because they can see the bigger picture. They have depth of reason. I want you to sort of stick on that word, is depth of reason. Having a why. What burns your engine and what's fueling it? So what I would touch on as well is you need to understand, are you a want person or a need? And there's a difference between wanting something, I want the new car, I want the new house, to someone who says, I need this. This is for me and my family. This is an absolute must and I'm willing to do everything in my power to go and get it. There's a huge difference. It's almost like buying your okay fuel, and then there's buying premium fuel, and the premium fuel is that person who needs it, who must have it, to the person who, yeah, I kind of want it. They will not stick through the tough times because there's going to be a lot of kickbacks, there's going to be a lot of no's, not a lot of rejection. So how are you going to continue to top your engine up, keep fueling yourself if you haven't got a reason why? So that's a huge part. The other thing that I want to touch on is pulling the trigger. So you can have your mindset, you can continue learning, you can have your morning routine, you can do everything. You can be doing everything, but when are you pulling the trigger? So if you go on to learn something new, when are you actually pulling the trigger, or are you just a hoarder? And I elaborate on my social media on this, is that someone who hoards information, learns things, but never really does it. Ultimately, you are a librarian. You are holding information, but you never pulled the trigger. You're that uncle or granddad at Christmas when you're all sitting around, you're eating roast, and he talks about everything that he knows, but yet you kind of sit there and think, well, why didn't you apply it? You knew all of this about history, you knew all of this about business, you knew all about this, but you didn't do anything with it. You became a hoarder or a librarian, as I call it. So don't become one of those. Learn to pull the trigger. It's so important. So let's look at ourselves, because we need to start back at the beginning now when it comes to discipline. So are you doubting yourself, or do you ever doubt yourself? Because we need to address this. Do you ever think that you can't do it? Do you believe that you can do it? Because if any of these emotions, and I'm sure many of them have, and that they've come across your mind, and you question whether you're doing the right thing, or are you worthy enough, and all of this lot, well, I promise you, we need to put all of this in a box and we need to throw it in the ocean, because we need to stop BSing ourselves and we need to get real. Because before we start applying all these good habits, the discipline, the commitment, the consistency, we need to be a clean slate with ourselves, because there is nothing no one cannot do. Blueprints are everywhere, okay? You just follow the blueprint. The only difference is, are you going to veer off the blueprint and you weren't disciplined enough to stay on that track, stay on that road in order to reach the end goal? So that's the first question. So get real with yourself. Secondly, stop thinking that we need to be academically proven. We need to have A's in all of our exams. We need to have rich parents. We need to come from a wealthy background. We need to have this. We need to have this. You don't. You can be an everyday average person and go on to achieve mega things. The only defining factor is that one word, discipline. It's simple, and that's my views on it. And many may not agree with it, and let me know in the comments and I'll get back to you. I'd be open for hearing what other people think about it. But it is very simple. It's just that commitment and having that word with yourself saying, do I really want this? Because like I said before, there is such a difference between someone who needs and someone who wants. Yes, I'd like it. That's a huge difference. There's no hunger in even hearing that. I'd like it, or I want it, or someone saying, I need this, I must have this for my family, and I'm not willing to give up until two things: I either achieve it or I'm incapacitated. Is one of the two things. So have a chat with yourself. Do stop doubting. Cut that out. Because if it's been done before, it can be done again. There are so many rags to riches stories out there, and I want you to go and find them, go and read them, be inspired, and ultimately you can just go and copy these blueprints that are out there. They've been done before. So finally, I want to talk about reaping the rewards, because a discipline should come back with a return on investment. We're investing now, we're sacrificing with delayed gratification, so it needs to come with a reward. There needs to be that end goal. So reaping those rewards come through longevity of life. When we go back to the good habit of health, fitness, physical and mindset, all being wrapped up into one, and being able to get up in the morning. If you start work at 7 or 8, can you get up earlier? Or can you do your cardio or physical exercise after work, squeezing in those hours? Or can you do it on your break? Because that will then create longevity. Because what's the point in doing money management, trying to become financially secure, building a good family life, trying to do all of this, build a business, trying to do everything you're doing if you don't have longevity? So it starts with that. So reap the reward of what you're sacrificing now, and that is by way of staying healthy physically and mentally. Get a return on your investment. We are investing in ourselves. It's like education. If you're going to educate yourself day after day after day after day and you're learning it, the return on the investment needs to be pulling the trigger. You need to activate what you're learning. So in order to get back the investment, you learn something, you apply it, you reap the reward. So apply everything that I've mentioned. Do let me know in the comments below. I hope you've enjoyed this video. It's only a quick one, but I just really want to emphasize on the importance of discipline, and that anyone can apply it in order to go on and achieve anything. And I mean that, anything that you want to. I'm applying discipline day in, day out. Don't get me wrong, we all have off days. So do I. I'm not saying this is 100% daily, 7 days a week, 24 hours. It's not. But try and be consistent. If you could have 5-6 days out of every 7-day week, you're really going to go on to see your own success. So apply it in any industry. Let me know in the comments below any thoughts that you have. Again, hit the like and subscribe button if you enjoyed this video, and I will speak to all of you very soon.